lot of your debates, you tend to have a very structured format,
Yes.
like present one argument, and a lot of times like the classic arguments and explain it, and then another one and explain it, another one and explain it, and you end up having like 3, 4, 5 different arguments.
Yes.
If you could pick one of the classic arguments, which one would you pick?
Well, my favorite is the so-called Kalam cosmological argument, which says the universe began to exist. If the universe began to exist, then the universe has a transcendent cause. Therefore, the universe has a transcendent cause. I love that argument. I think it's very powerful and persuasive. Having said that, however, I think the argument that actually resonates most with people and that has the most existential grip is the moral argument for God. That would go like this: if God does not exist, objective moral values and duties do not exist. 2, objective moral values and duties do exist. 3, therefore God exists. The reason this argument is so powerful is that students tend to believe both premises. They've been taught relativism and pluralism, and so they tend to think that there are no objective moral values and duties. So they agree with premise 1, that if there is no God, then everything is relative. But at the same time, the values of tolerance and fairness and love has been deeply instilled into them. They are desperately afraid of judging someone else. And so they think it's morally wrong to be intolerant, that it's morally wrong to judge someone else. And therefore they're deeply committed to premise 2 as well, that there are objective moral values. And they just never put the two together to see what follows from it, namely that God exists. And so this has a very powerful existential force, I think, in sharing with people, because you can't ignore it. Every day you get up, you answer by how you treat other people, whether or not you think people have objective moral value or not, or just to be used, things to be used. And so the argument's inescapable. You can ignore the evidence for the beginning of the universe and get along just fine, but you can't ignore this question of whether there are objective moral values and duties.